What human impact does economic data have for business journalists? Imagine trying to explain a story about the economy without numbers. It would be like trying to describe a painting without colors. Economic data is the backbone of business journalism. It shapes how stories are told and what stories are told. Business journalists relying on data like employment figures, gross domestic product growth, inflation rates, and stock market indices. These numbers help explain the current state of the economy to the public. When a journalist reports that unemployment has risen, it tells a story about people's lives and financial security. If inflation is high, it affects how much consumers can buy and how families plan their budgets. Business journalists interpret these figures to make them understandable. They break down complex numbers into stories that everyone can follow. This helps the public grasp how economic changes impact their daily lives. Economic data also influences how people behave. When news reports highlight rising inflation, people might decide to save more or cut back on spending. If employment numbers improve, consumers may feel more confident to buy big-ticket items. Business journalists often include quotes from workers, business owners, or economists to make these stories more relatable. They show how abstract data translates into real-world effects. There's a responsibility that comes with reporting economic data. Journalists must be accurate and clear. Misinformation can cause panic or false hope. They need to verify their sources and explain what the numbers mean. For example, if a report says the economy grew by 2%, the journalist should clarify if that is a quarterly or yearly figure. They should also mention if there are uncertainties or if the data is preliminary. This honesty helps maintain trust with the audience. Business journalists use economic data to hold companies accountable. They analyze how corporate earnings reports compare to market expectations. They also explain how government policies, like changes in interest rates or tax laws, influence the economy. Experts like economists and financial analysts are often consulted to give context and different viewpoints. This helps the audience understand the bigger picture. In the end, economic data is more than just numbers. It is a tool that helps business journalists tell stories about how the economy affects people's lives. It turns complex financial information into stories that inform, educate, and sometimes warn the public. Without this data, it would be much harder to understand what is happening in the world of business and finance.